6th grade was like all the guys were like super tiny and all the girls felt really, really tall. It was like this weird year of just like,
yep. I was
that
5'2".
developmental offset.
It didn't feel like a teeny person. It was great.
For 5 years, I literally just grew 11 inches. It was just like, oh, sorry.
Did that hurt? Did you get the really bad growing pains?
Yeah.
Oof.
Like
Yeah.
my legs were the worst because
Legs.
my legs
No.
and lower back. It was just like, Jesus, everything's just being stretched.
Oh yeah.
Bones are like, it's fine. Let's fill it in.
I don't know those problems, but you know.
But you don't have the bone density problem?
I grew a baby twice, so that stretched some shit.
Damn, dude. That's it. That's that legendary feat right there.
Yeah.
My mom's like 4'11".
Your mom?
Yeah.
Yes.
How tall are
And
you?
so whenever I go and hang out with her, I tower over her.
Yeah, how tall are you, Jesse?
Hmm?
How tall are you?
I'm only 6'1". I'm not like huge tall, but my mom's
Only
really short.
I'm only
That's
6'1".
pretty tall.
Right?
Got a shout out for Thing for
What up,
resubscribing. Tier 1. Thank you, Thing. We'll use that as a little segue so we don't have to talk about our bodies growing disproportionately
No, we
anymore.
were live.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Pride Month. Welcome to the In Crowd. I'm your DM, Jesse Keeter. We play D&D 5e, currently focusing on story and characters more than mechanics. This is episode 9 of our 10-episode arc. The previous episodes are linked below, along with some pretty sweet recaps and all of our social media. That TikTok is hot right now. Even though I gotta say I hate dad
Embarrassing.
jokes and I hate puns and all that shit, but you're still getting a like and a retweet out of your boy here because I support you guys. So go down there, press all those little buttons. They'll lead you wherever you want to go. Yeah, that's it. That's all the administrative stuff. We got some heavy things we need to address in fiction. So we're gonna head that way now. Last episode, the group journeyed into the wastelands of Bossamortok to stop an evil lich from reassembling itself. But they were ambushed by Blood Oath elves, and the druid Argus was slain. Let's roll. For a moment, there is perfect quiet. The stillness of the long-forgotten ruined city, your enemies and Argus's cold bodies, and your hearts all feel motionless. Then the world returns. Your eyes water at the thought of being lost in an expansive wasteland, the fine dust that clings to your clothes and hair, and the incorrigible heat that continues to drain sweat from your skin. Estin, the necromancer and a fan favorite, has escaped into the Duskwell with the intention of helping the Lich reform itself. Time is of the essence, but Argus, your friend, body riddled with arrows and maimed by blades, lays at your feet. What would you like to do?
Well, Argus knew when to stop to honor the fallen. He always did, even when we had no time, even when they weren't people we knew. We owe him that.
I agree.
I think I'd want to try and maybe take the arrows out, try to clean him up if we can a little, just to, maybe some water in his water skin, maybe just to like.
Sure.
Try and
That's
set
not
him
gonna.
right.
That's not gonna require a check. Just give us a little taste, narratively, of how Naomi goes about this.
Sure, I think I would just take a corner of my scarf, wet it, and try and get any blood off of his face. Try to arrange what he was wearing, cover up the holes, maybe some of the stains.
And
Make it look like
Irachan?
when we met in the tavern.
I'm gonna go to a solitary place so I can be with myself and dig a grave.
Okay. You will need to note that Eston is on his way to the desk well. And so each task that you choose, that time will be accounted for in his progress to that destination. That is not to stop you from doing any of these things. I'm just letting you know that there is a clock ticking. Iratran goes and finds a place to dig a grave.
Or a shallow grave. A very quick,
shallow grave.
Like a half-ass grave.
Sure. There's also a bunch of rubble, Iratran, if you wanted to dig a shallow grave and then make, a mound.
Okay. We'll do that.
Triss?
Are there any flowers nearby? I would like to find some and sort of weave them together like a crown so we could put it on top of the mound.
Unfortunately, in Basamortok, there is no life.
Nothing.
It is a wasteland.
Well, then I would like to take the sash from underneath my cloak and take that and braid it into a circle and place it on the grave.
Okay. Iratran finishes the grave and with the help of you guys moves the body in, and you spend a short amount of time stacking stones over the top to cover Argus. Triss lays the braided sash over the top. Would anybody like to say a few words?
I will. You met me having pulled a blade from my belly. And I never knew a bond could be forged like this. You always had my back, even though you were a quirky one. But I will miss you. And I'll see you on the other side.
I'd like to, Argus, we didn't know each other for a long time. We lived many lives before you came into ours. But in that time, we got to make music together. No one played the bowls like you, and I'll always remember that. The songs that I know aren't particularly suited to the sort of adventures and life that you led, but I'll leave you with one anyway. Oh, the seed cannot know how its branches will grow and be home to the nest and the vine. And the vine cannot say on what bright summer day will the sweet grapes be trodden to wine. So drink of it deeply and sing to me sweetly in shade from a seed ages gone. Remember the name of the friend who once came down the road and then passed us along. Oh, the leaf and the root were once acorn and fruit. They must fall and be buried to grow. But blossoms remember the chill in December. They fall and recall how it snows. How gentle the weeping, how lonesome the sleeping, how joyful the sound of your name. And promises granted by seeds that you planted will grow in the garden today.
Beautiful. Naomi, take inspiration. That's going to give you advantage on any roll that you want to use once this session. You are a bard. And I wasn't gonna hook you guys up, but you do have a bard, and she just sang a very beautiful song. That's gonna count for a short rest for everybody. Anything that recharges on a short rest is gonna recharge, and everybody's gonna get 1 hit dice worth of HP back. Triss, Naomi, you're both rolling a D8. Iratran, you're going to roll a D10. And you will add
Okay.
your Constitution modifier to that. And because of Naomi's song, everybody will add an additional D6. You can't go over your maximum HP, but if you're lucky, you'll at least get back to the top.
Well,
Actually fine.
Yeah,
I didn't have any damage, so
I did. So
that
sorry, that was a
was-
D8 and a D6.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Naomi had to take on that slug.
All right. Yeah, it was. Oof. Okay, great. I'm back to full.
Okay,
Great.
cool. And then for you, Iratran, things like fighters, all of their abilities refresh on a short rest. So you'll get second wind, and you'll also get action surge back.
Dopeness. Oh, that's unfortunate for all of them.
Okay. As Naomi's song echoes away into the wastes, the memory of Eston's cruel whistle and the sadistic smile on his face returns to you. Once again, your attention is drawn to the dusk well where Eston escaped. Shout out for a sub in Rathix. Thank you very much. You will not be disappointed. The Duskwell is a massive stone circle, approximately 15 feet in diameter, with a stone arch that spans across the dark chasm. Long and rusty chains drop down in. They're connected at the top to an ancient pulley system. Cold air emanates from the mouth, like death welcoming its next meal. If you decide to pursue Eston, you'll need to get down. What would you like to do?
Can we see how deep it is?
Yeah,
Toss a
just
stone
give
or
me
something?
Yeah, just give me a perception check.
23.
That's a good perception check. So I'm going to give you a little extra information there. You can see that it is too far down to jump, but it is not a bottomless pit. You can see far below there is a floor. And the bonus information you get for rolling a 23 is going to be that the chains can take you all the way down to the bottom, though they do not look sturdy enough to hold more than one person at a time.
Even a small person.
That will be up to you to find out.
Do either of you have night vision?
I do.
Vision. You do?
Yes.
I don't think so.
You do as well, Iratran.
I do.
Nope. I just have rope.
Also useful.
I'll be going first. I'll be going first, and you follow me after.
All
As
right,
you say.
Iratran, give me either an athletics or an acrobatics check.
We're going acrobatics because that's +7.
What?
He's got a lot of big pluses.
25.
Okay. Like the pirate that he is, Iratran scoops up one of the lengths of chain and expertly slides down to the bottom.
Oh, yeah. I was like Spider-Man, but like, mythical.
So we're ziplining.
Iratran, as you release the rusted chain from your grasp, you take in your surroundings. There is no water at the bottom of this well. You have landed onto dirt. Who's going next?
Me, I'll go next.
Cool. Acrobatics or athletics?
I think it had better be acrobatics. Whoop. Okay, 17.
That's gonna do it. Not so expertly, but gracefully nonetheless. Naomi makes it down to the bottom. And Triss?
I'll follow exactly the same.
Okay.
But I'm rolling, what'd you say? Acrobatics?
Either acrobatics or athletics.
We'll go acrobatics. 15.
Okay. It was not that hard of a check. I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to fuck up, and you didn't. Triss joins you
The generosity.
at the bottom of the well.
The thing breaks and you fall on your ass.
You take in your surroundings. The vast hall is humid and musty, with a heavy mineral smell that burns in the back of your throats. Through an ornately carved tunnel, you enter into a holy space. 2 aisles of stone benches line both sides of the room. An altar of a rising sun blasts golden light outward. Or perhaps it isn't the altar, but someone or something sitting upon it. You're in a relatively large space. You are underground, but you have appeared to enter some kind of temple. This altar is at the far end, on the other side of a line of pews, and it is glowing very brightly. So much so that you have to squint when you look towards it. What would you like to do?
Can I sneak to it so I can check it out?
Yes. You may. It's going to be a high DC just because the light itself is blasting pretty much all the shadows out of this room, but you're very sneaky. Roll it.
Right, I can crawl under the pews. What do I... Sorry, I can't remember what... Stealth?
Stealth, yes.
Right. 15 seems to be the number of the night.
You aren't positive that you are hiding from whatever it is, but you do circle around and find that its gaze has remained on your friends. What you see is a woman. She is wearing what appears to be very light white, like they're not priest's robes. They'd be closer to wizard's robes, but maybe somewhere in between. And the light seems to be emanating from her. It is some kind of aura that is up around her.
And
she has not moved.
She's flesh. She's not a statue.
From what you can see, she is flesh.
What's the vibe? Like benevolent, malevolent? Like, you know what
Pretty
I mean?
chill, actually.
Okay.
The light is warm, not overly so, but there is, you're both magical. You can feel a definite magical presence here that seems to be coming from this figure and this aura that she is projecting. And it is warm and almost inviting.
I walk towards her. Like,
sure.
Yeah, I follow as well.
She jumps off of the altar and says, "Ooh, how I've been waiting for this day." And then she reaches into her robes, the sleeve of them, and produces a scroll. She unrolls it and splitting her attention between the scroll and you as though she's checking something, she says, "Ooh, yes, you must be Iratran, and you're Naomi, which means you're," and she points over to you, Triss. You are obviously not hidden from her. "Triss, very sneaky, though not quite as sneaky as the ledger would have said. Hello. I'm Almi."
Have we met?
"We have not, but I've been expecting you."
Almi. Why are our names on a ledger?
Well, there is much information which has come from the Duskwell, and we knew that Argus would succeed in finding all of you and bringing you here.
He was tasked with finding us?
He was. Unfortunately, the reward was not befitting the task, and I am very sorry that he did not make it to join you here.
As are we.
Puck! Shout out to Puck! 5 gift subs, you rock.
Whoa.
Thanks for the...
Nom 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 nom.
that's the sub sound? Nom.
Eating a sub.
So
I am not only sad that Argus is not here to join you, but that it appears you are too late.
Too late for what?
Well, the necromancer Eston has already passed into the labyrinth beneath this temple, and I fear you'll never be able to catch him now.
Oh, really? Have you seen how fast I am?
She's
I have
very
not.
fast.
We've only just met.
Well, you seem to know everything else about us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It says right here, Triss, very fast.
So,
Can use cunning action to disengage or dash as a bonus action. Very quick.
this Ledger, his whole job was to get us here, and what? That's it? What are we supposed to do here?
Well, we're not turning
It was-
around. That's for sure.
I wouldn't expect you to. It was anticipated that the three of you, and there was a chance that Argus would have been able to join, but his actions prevented that. It was anticipated that the three of you would be able to stop the Lich, Fendar Gazelarok.
Bless
Pardon,
you.
what?
The Lich, named Fendar Gazelarok, was not always a powerful undead being. For a great long time, he was a powerful living being, and not so evil.
Did he gaze at rocks?
You know, they say the lineage of names could be traced back to the profession of an individual, so it is possible.
There's a profession where people stare at rocks.
I do not know.
Touche
But
straight.
using the Duskwell to gain a bit of prescience, should there be something called the internet that ever gets invented, there will be many jobs that we would not anticipate worthy of pay and yet very lucrative.
Well,
I can't
we
wait for my son, John, the social media runner.
I have been put here to welcome you and provide whatever assistance I might. I am not exactly the person you see before you. I am a simulacrum, a failsafe created by one of the wizards who succeeded in defeating Fendar Gazelarok when he was still alive. And ensuring, though it seems we have not succeeded, in preventing him from returning to power once he achieved lichdom.
Well, is there like, a set of steps to be taken to do this, or are you just saying it's done?
Well, there is a shortcut, but I didn't bring it up earlier because it'll probably kill you.
we're all about that. Honestly, we can rock those odds. Let's hear about the shortcut.
Aye.
Well, okay. Almi turns towards the altar and brings her arms out and akimbo beyond the normal bend of an elbow. The shape of her body hunches and twists grotesquely. Suddenly, the altar flares, golden and beautiful, and then a prick of darkness grows from its center. Almi spins around and hisses like water dumping on a flame. The sun goes out, and the room frosts in a cold snap. The sun dissolves, and a spinning portal opens in front of you. Almi seems to be melting as she shouts, "There is only one path, and yet many. The future is uncertain. Go, now, through this incredibly dangerous shortcut."
I liked her optimism.
Yeah, you heard the lady. Let's go. Let's make tracks.
All right.
We go.
You all jump into the portal. Almi does not follow you. You find yourselves within a cavern of ice. The ground is frosted and provides some traction, but ultimately it's very slippery. Stalactites hang from the ceiling and glimmer deadly promise if one should fall into you. The walls feel closed in. They're lined with fractures and jagged edges. No pathways reveal themselves. You're in an enclosed ice dome that is pretty tight and pretty sharp, but fractured. What would you like to do? Oh, and the portal closes behind you.
So she said there's only one path, but many paths, correct?
Yeah, that was cryptic.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like just ice. Does anyone else see a path, or am I missing something?
I think I would start feeling my way along the wall to see if there's any
Sure.
like textural difference
Roll-
or.
Roll investigation.
Okay. Wow, super. Okay, for 15.
Yeah. Yeah. DC 13. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very good. You go around and you do find that where some of the bigger fractures in the ice wall are, you can see through as though the wall is not so thick there. You are not in an impenetrable wall of ice. You seem to be inside some kind of enclosure. And there does appear to be some kind of stone archway frozen into this with an open passage, though there is ice across it in a sheet.
So it's like an archway sort of filled with ice that's
Yes.
embedded in the. Okay. Wow. You guys, I think there's a doorway. Maybe we can, I don't know, hack our way through. I have a smallish knife and a normal size boomerang, but I think if we just really go for it and just are patient, we can get through.
Do I have a torch?
I cast cantrip on my scimitar and short sword.
Okay.
And I'm
They erupt in
great.
green flames.
Yes.
and I'm gonna go wailing on that spot.
Sure. Roll an attack with advantage because you're using a flaming blade.
Excelsior.
Okay, that's advantage, hopefully, thankfully. 16.
That
Thank
will do it. Roll damage.
Come on, scimitar. 10.
The ice within the archway explodes like safety glass and goes rolling down a passageway which is behind it. And as you leave this little dome of ice and travel deeper, the cavern grows colder. You find within these walls of ice, people frozen in place. They appear to be other failed adventurers. You see someone holding a spell book in the middle of some incantation, completely frozen solid. There's rogues with double blades, archers with bows, fighters who have not had time to finish the swing of a warhammer, but they're all frozen into the walls. The cavern is unbearably cold, and you can see your breath. You must find a faster way to travel.
Well, I mean, I could dash with Naomi on my back.
Okay.
Like on my feet as well.
Okay.
Wait, can we craft some kind of like skates or something?
Yes,
Yes,
could.
the ground frozen?
The ground is frozen.
Let's ice skate.
Yeah, you could
Yes.
do that.
Oh,
I
wait.
don't think it's gonna require some kind of roll. Let me just check what kind of skills we got.
Make ice skate.
This is gonna be Triss. We're gonna let your thieves' tools fly. You also have a dragon chess set. I'm looking at your character sheet just in case you ever want to play chess. Naomi, you're also a little gnome tinkerer, ain't you?
Mm-hmm.
You
And
also
I
got thieves'
also,
tools.
yeah, and I have
So-
I have a picture frame, like a silver picture frame. Can I
Okay.
take it apart and like use the sides for blades?
You absolutely can. You're going to roll sleight of hand with advantage because Triss is helping you, and you both have thieves' tools to craft some ice skates for the party.
Okay. Oh my god. All right. That is, what is that? That's a 19.
That's gonna do it. They don't look good, but
You know,
Naomi
they-
and Triss have fashioned you all make-do ice skates out of a silver picture frame and some thieves' tools. And you all start skating like mad down this cavern. You can feel your cloaks and your clothes stiffening in the cold, but you do start to warm up as you hustle. The icy cavern floor does eventually end at a natural cliff, which overlooks an underground canyon of glowing ice crystals. The drop is steep and perilous, the known threat almost worse than not knowing. There's no way to continue forward, and it is too cold to make it back. And even if you could, what is it you would be making it back to? Above, the ceiling clinks, and you see an icicle fall. Everybody roll dexterity saving throw, please.
Ugh.
And I got a bunch of shout-outs coming at you for bits.
Natural
bits.
20.
Ooh, nice. 17.
So 26 total.
Okay. Hold that thought. Who's Kenzo Lee? Argus, R.I.P. himself.
Aww.
Gamer Shark 420.
Hurrah.
Hot Wife 13. Ivan Drago. And Puckin' About. Thank you so much. All right, we got more than 20 for both Naomi and Triss, right?
No, 17 for me.
And what about you, Airtran?
13.
Okay.
Look, skating is
Naomi
hard.
and Triss backward skate awkwardly out of the way, but Eartran can't figure it out. The icicle is falling straight down above him when a creature flies in and intercepts the shard in a blur of motion. It finishes its arc and settles on a sturdy fang of ice. It's hanging upside down, and it's a massive blue bat. Once you recognize the lines of its body, you make out several more of them milling about on the ceiling, keen on catching more icicles. They actually seem to be playing, and as the icicles fall, these giant blue bats swoop down and catch them, and then return to hang upside down and lick them like they're little popsicles.
Are these are these malevolent shadow bats, or are they just big bats?
They're just big bats. These are not the crazy shadow creatures that you guys have come across, and they don't seem to be paying you any mind, though they have noticed you.
Great.
Thank God.
I want to go talk to one.
Okay. They're right above you. So as you stand on the edge of the cliff, we're in kind of like what appears to be, you're not sure because you are sure that you're deep underground, but you've entered into this vast cavern, which is big enough to support a cliff and a valley. It is lit from below and above by these shimmering blue crystals. And right above you on the edge of the cliff, there's just a bunch of these bats. So as you walk up to the edge, Naomi, all you have to do is look up and talk, and they are there.
Great. I wait for one to catch an icicle, and I yell, "Good catch!"
Oh, thank you.
You guys really, you guys have this really dialed in. You guys are pretty impressive to watch. Really,
it's literally how we spend most of our day.
Sure. Yeah. Well, listen, we're seeking safe passage to a labyrinth, possibly of unspeakable evil, possibly some creatures of darkness have already passed through here on the way to the same labyrinth. Any particular recommendations you have for a route with less death?
Oh, well, you're in the wrong place if you're trying to avoid death. But, and this bat is hanging upside down, looking straight down at you. You know, it's not lost on me and my friends that we live in a magical temple that's tied to the fate of the planet. But we've decided that it'd be best to just not get involved, you know? Because if we started taking sides, we'd be jumping on the bandwagon of every adventurer who comes in here seeking to alter fate. And that's just not what we're about. We're a simple race. We just like shiny things and catching stuff out of the air.
Sure. You know, normally I'd say that those who remain neutral in conflict have chosen the side of the oppressor, but I mean, you guys have a sweet thing going here, you know? I mean, the icicles, I don't blame you one bit. This is great.
I feel like maybe and I haven't spent much time with gnomes, but you're being passive aggressive, I think.
Well, I'm offering you an opportunity to consider your place in the world, you know? I mean, a group like you guys, you know, big, swoopy, athletic, talented, you could make a really big difference if you chose to, you know, bring your skills to bear for the side of good. Just some food for thought, you know? No judgment here. But again, the labyrinth, maybe a direction, the down or across or have you been there?
The labyrinth is outside of the valley here. but
Oh,
we are
okay.
aware of it. If you're trying to get back to it, you'll need to cross the valley itself, and you won't be able to do so on foot. Roll diplomacy, Naomi. Is that even a fucking skill?
No.
No. You're not doing deception. I'd say either persuasion or performance.
Okay. Let's go performance.
Okay.
That's a 21.
Okay. Now, you've made me feel quite guilty.
Don't think of it as guilt. Think of it as a call to action, you know?
Sure. Sure. And I suppose that Krishna would have said inaction is action, and therefore I'm not one to go against the avatar of Vishnu. I don't know about you. So I guess we'll help you out. You rolled a 21, did you?
Yeah, sure did.
He turns to the rest of his buddies who are now watching this. Some of them seem to be interested. Others have heard this many times. And he says, all right, you lot, anybody else feel guilty enough to help these adventurers? And with a 21, one other bat will join in this little endeavor. They both flip down off of the ceiling and land in front of you. They are quite large. How big would they be? I think they would be probably just size large. We're looking at like horse size.
Oh,
they're
wow.
Like they're big.
Big
We
boys.
can ride
yeah.
them. All right.
Yeah. The ceiling is actually quite high over you. So yeah, they say, yeah, I guess we'd be happy to fly you across.
Oh, that's great. That would be amazing. Wow. I feel like there's already been growth even in the short time we've been talking. You know, I mean, you guys are going to be the stuff of legend when this is all over. Wow. I just can't say enough about you. This is terrific.
You should know that deeper in the valley, there are a natural predator we tend to avoid. But because we are already abandoning our promise of neutrality, I will not be able to take any violent actions on your behalf.
I wouldn't ask you to abandon your principles to that extent.
What's this predator you be speaking of?
Oh, well, they really suck. I just want to get that out there right at the top. They are what we believe, though we are a simple ice bat folk.
I just realized I'm talking to the bat. Like I can talk to you. Sorry.
Naomi is, I think
wait a
Naomi is
minute.
translating.
Back and forth.
This doesn't directly translate, but he says they suck. Which I think there's.
We believe them to be the accumulation of some of the frustrated and failed spirits of those adventurers caught in the walls. You saw them?
We did.
And as he brings it up, you are thinking back, and they all had weapons drawn. They even seem to have been frozen mid-attack. Now, these creatures, though they are echoes of the hatred and violence expelled from those heroes who failed in their quests and were unable to alter fate for whatever their own reasoning, you should know that they can take a substantial form that is very dangerous. And they prize our deaths above all else because we represent joy.
That's terrible.
Yeah, you're telling me, sister.
What's your name? You're great.
My name is Florb.
Florb. Wow, enchanting to meet you.
And this is my buddy, Norgit.
Wow. Truly, the ice bats are a noble people. We're so fortunate to have met you.
Yeah. Now hop on my back.
Okay.
So, there's only two bats. Who's riding with who? Florb is the spokesman, and Norgit is of equal stature, but a little bit more timid. How would you all like to ride?
Okay, well, Triss and I combined, are we sort of who weighs more, one Iratran or Naomi plus Triss?
I think it's almost the same.
Ooh, spicy. Okay.
Oh, Airtran's just stacked, you know?
Plus all the weapons. It's like, come on,
right.
there's a lot.
Right.
I never skip leg day, Karen.
That's
How
All
about
right, so
since Naomi has such a a connection with Florb, why don't y'all two take on that one?
okay.
That's a good idea.
Triss and Naomi will ride on Florb, who will take point, and Iratran, you will follow on Norgit.
I like
And
it.
as you climb up, Norgit says, "Hey, hi."
I don't speak ice bat.
It just sounds like this.
Uh,
Yeah, it's all like echolocation and stuff, right? So we're just like screaming at each other.
that was a very uncomfortable conversation, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, so after you mount up, you find that it is easy enough to be on these bats. They scrabble towards the cliff face and then, without any warning, leap into the air and dive down towards the valley. And then they spread their wings and shoot right back up. And flying on the backs of these freezing bats, their skin actually does feel cold, and the fur on them is brittle and frosted. Not as though the temperature of the room, which is cold, has done that. It's as though the bats themselves are made of this frigid substance. Flying on the backs of these freezing bats feels like a strange hallucination. The air whips past as they drop, then flap, drop, then flap, and they keep diving and swooping back up. They fly oddly close to the hanging stalactites whenever they lift, and then quickly dodge out of the way at the last moment. They seem to be playing even while they are flying with you. It's terrifying and exhilarating. In fact, because you've convinced these bats to give you a ride, you are able to make up some of the time that you lost during the funeral for Argus. And I'm going to make a little note. Time will be of the essence. It has been since you stepped through the portal into the frozen place. But you've now made up some time. Yeah, you go for a while. And you're just flying until you can start to see in the distance. And if you are in fact underground, this place is incredible because it takes some time before you can even see the other side of this valley. There seems to be like cliffs on the other side, and perhaps the darkness of a doorway, though you are still too far away to make that happen. And then something really good happens, guys. Roll initiative.
Oh God. You said good, right?
But I didn't say for who.
Oh, 7.
15.
Iratran?
21. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, nobody goes before Iratran.
I like lights and dice. Everyone's
Who rolled a 7? Triss?
That was, yes.
Did you crit fail your initiative?
No, I rolled a 3.
Okay.
What happens if you crit fail an initiative? It's like you just trip over your own feet and then the fight around you.
You stab yourself.
I don't know what would happen if you crit failed an initiative, but it would be bad.
Well, can you actually fail an initiative? Because like, can you crit like succeed an initiative? It's like you are the best. You like step up and you're like, I got this shit.
To me, if you crit succeed an initiative, you'd get a surprise round. Or if somebody, apropos of nothing, got a surprise round on you, you would negate that. But
Okay.
since you didn't crit roll your initiative, a surprise round happens against you. So,
Awesome. So excited.
unfolding from two of the larger icicles in front of you are two transparent creatures. They unfold out of the icicle, then start to float through the air. Unlike the bats, they do not need to exert any kind of force to fly. The way that I see these is picture a large human skeleton, but only the upper half, floating through the air with silk sheets pressed over them. If the sheets were soaking wet and dipping into and forming into all of the horrible parts of their bones. These specters, and the bones are made out of ice. These specters start flying towards you, and they are going to get a surprise round. One of them darts towards Florb.
No.
Ew.
And just as it encroaches on you, that transparent ethereal quality bleeds into substance, and the specter becomes a corporeal being right in front of you. And it reaches out a long, bony hand that emerges from the sheet, and you can see that it is, in fact, made out of these spike-like icicles, as hard as bone. And it rolls a 15. It places its hand on Florb and then starts flying alongside behind. Florb needs to make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
Come on, Florb.
And does not.
Florb.
Oh my god.
Great.
13. Okay. So, Naomi and Triss, you're both riding on top of Florb. You can feel the frigid temperature of Florb's body actually warm up, and the icy blue of its fur lighten. And his wings stutter for just a moment, and he dips out of the sky. And you can actually see some kind of essence being drained from Florb into the specter's hand. And after the specter absorbs it, it goes back into a transparent form and actually passes through another icicle before becoming corporeal again. The other one reaches for Norgit and hits.
Oh, God.
But Norgit passes his save.
Yeah, Norgit.
Oh, Norgit.
You can see that there is just the slightest drain, Iratran, as the specter's hand drags along Norgit's side, but Norgit ducks, barrel rolls, you cling on, and then they start flying. The specters are now matching you.
I'm gonna call I'm on Norgit Maverick from now on.
Okay. So that brings us into initiative proper. Iratran, you're fast as hell. What would you like to do?
They're corporeal and they're diving currently, like they're falling.
We're gonna set this up so it's not impossible for y'all, but what you'll be able to do is direct the bats enough to get you within melee range if you'd prefer. Otherwise, you'll need to stick to ranged weapons. And they are just now matching your speed. So the bats are still flying as fast as they can towards the other cliff, and the specters are one alongside each of your bats, matching your speed.
If I'm holding on to it, then I would. Sorry, I have a lot of questions because I'm usually a two-handed guy, but I'm flying on a bat.
Don't trouble yourself too much with the logistics of riding a bat in the real sense.
Nice.
You will be able to take turns and do actions. If you're trying to get fucking crazy, like jump from one bat to another or something like that, then we'll need some rolls, but just assume you can attack normally.
Don't jump. That sounds like a fucking blast. We're going to go ahead.
I'm down like a lot.
Didn't say you couldn't. I just said it would require a roll.
All right, well, we'll wait until we'll see if they can pull up. I'm going to go ahead and attack the dude who attacked Maverick.
Sure.
Swing it with the scimitar. Come on. Where you at?
Roll it.
Ooh. 17.
That is going to hit.
Nice. I can hit
Roll damage.
stuff. Boom. 10.
They don't seem to be wearing any armor. Okay. So here's what's up. Iratran, you land a solid blow on this specter. But just as your sword hits it, it goes transparent again. And you feel the blow connect for only a moment before it passes through the specter's body. You deal half damage because it has resistance to non-magical attacks.
Wait, does my cantrip count as a magical attack then? If I lit it?
If you juice up, that would make it a magical attack.
Noted.
Do you specifically do fire damage, or is it just like magical damage?
Proficiency. Green flame.
Yeah.
It's just fire damage.
Yeah. The Spectre has some, you'll find out, some pretty wacky resistances here because it is the conglomeration of several heroes' souls as hatred frozen into this beast.
Oh,
But it's
Sounds
up
like
to you,
my
Sean.
ex.
Hey!
yeah. I wonder if they're watching me.
Second attack there, Iratran, if you'd like to take it.
I'm gonna go ahead and stab it in its ghost face.
All right, roll it.
Short sword. You know, if I sing it, it seems to work. Because that was a 21.
Boom.
That's gonna hit.
Ooh,
Roll damage.
right in the ghost face.
Does Iratran get bardic inspiration for singing?
11.
It'll need to be more than just like 2 bars, but yeah.
I got an 11. Stabbing in the face.
Okay. You again feel the blade make contact. The specters don't seem to be quick enough when you land hits. You deal half damage, so it'll be half damage, and it's always rounded up. So you deal 6. But then the blade passes through the specter again. And then in its transparent state, it actually moves through you and the bat, Iratran, and then comes corporeal on the other side. Nothing bad happens other than a very cold feeling enveloping you. But the bat, Norgit, who only Naomi can understand, says, "Oh, yeah, I like that."
I'm glad I didn't hear that as Iratran. If he passed through me, that means he's behind me now?
He just went from one side to the next.
Dope. I'm gonna action surge and go with my scimitar.
Damn! Swing it.
I'm coming at him. Crit.
Oh,
All right.
come on. Yo.
Double damage. Roll the dice twice.
Where did you come? 11. So I rolled again?
Yeah, you roll the dice twice, and then you add your bonus.
All right. Even though it rolled 2 dice. Okay. Well, damn.
Yeah, you roll 2 dice, but you only get 1 bonus.
Okay. All right. So,
Jeez.
all right. To be clear, the first time I roll 2 dice, and then I roll again, which is a single dice because of my crit, or just the 2 dice?
No, when you roll a crit, what you do is you double the amount of dice rolled. So what are you rolling? What is your damage dice? It's a D8?
It's for my scimitar, it's a D6.
So you would roll 2 D6
Okay,
and then add whatever your bonus is.
Where is my bonus?
It'll just be like, it says under scimitar 1d6 plus 3 or whatever.
Oh.
Or for you, probably like fucking 5.
So it's
Yeah. It's 16 total?
yeah.
Okay. You're only going to deal, only 8 of that is going to get through.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see as you make contact, Iratran, you actually cleave through several of the beast's ribs, and its robes are now in tatters, and icicles are flying through the air. It is technically bloodied, though it does not have blood in the traditional sense, but it is still up.
It's frosted.
It has given... Let me give a shout out here before we continue. Tarkin Rules, thank you for that sub tier 1. You rock.
Admiral Tarkin, I love it.
So here's what's up. The Spectre looks far worse for the wear. And though Iratran has just beat the shit out of it, to use the technical term, its focus has not moved from the bat. Naomi, it is your turn.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna cast color spray to blind the one that's following Florb, following us,
Okay.
and then see if can I how many spells can I cast for an action? Is it just one and one?
You can only cast one spell.
Okay.
There is a way to do more, but I don't think you're at the level where you can do it. It gets into the action economy, so certain spellcasters can like cast a bonus action spell as well as a regular spell, but then there's rules because you can't cast you can only cast one cantrip, one regular. You can't cast two. It's weird. I don't think that you got the juice yet, kid.
Sure,
We'll get you there.
Fair. We'll get there, you know?
What does it
okay.
look like when Naomi casts color spray? Because you are such a wonderful little gnome.
Yes. Oh, you. Let's see. I think this is sort of very firework heavy in terms of like what happens. Just sort of like a lot of like very spluttery, explodey little points of light just go like and sort of like crackle a lot, and kind of happens in a I don't know, a cone shape.
Which specter are you aiming at? The one nearest you, or the one that has been smacked around by Iratran?
The one just to clarify, the one that's following us on Florb is also like following us pretty closely. Like it's also focused on it. Okay, yeah, I'll just go for that one.
Sure. Yeah. It does not require a saving throw. It is now blinded. So there are some rules for that, which I have in front of me, because I thought you might try and get tricky, and I wanted to be prepared. Okay, so all you need to know for right now is that any attacks against this creature are going to have advantage, and its attacks are going to have disadvantage. And it can no longer see. That is your action. You can see that up until this point, both of the specters have been flying slightly above you, and as the bats have been dipping through these icicles, the specters, instead of going around them, just go transparent and pass through.
Oh, wait a minute. I just had a thought. You said I can cast a cantrip as well?
No, unless it specifically states that it's a bonus action.
I see. Okay.
But there's stuff like, I think Healing Word counts. There's a couple cantrips that count as bonus actions, but they have to be explicitly stated.
I see. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
The specters have been going straight through the icicles. And then you cast Color Spray and blind this specter. It reels for a moment and was just going transparent to pass through an icicle. It then, because it cannot see, a blind creature can't see and automatically fails any ability check that requires sight, becomes corporeal in the middle of the icicle as though it didn't see where it should have exited. The icicle explodes. Naomi, Triss, both of you give me a dexterity saving throw.
Yo. Oh, God.
God, 9.
That's a 7.
Okay. The specter takes 6 damage from getting blown up by its own stupid trick. Triss, you get hit with some shrapnel. What did you roll, Naomi?
7.
Okay, both of you. This is for both of you. You both take 4 damage from ice shrapnel, which sprays into the air.
Yikes.
But, Triss... Oh, no. You rolled a very bad initiative. That's right. The specters go first, actually. Iratran, the specter nearest you, dives. And it really sucks. So it goes... It just swings at the bat, and the bat goes around an icicle, and the specter hits the icicle and blows it up, and actually has to start catching back up. But it missed its attack. The second specter near Florb and the girls also rolls poorly and makes a dive again for the bat. Oh, and it's fucking at disadvantage. Let's see if he crit fails. He does not. It doesn't seem to know where you've gone and swings wildly, hitting several different icicles and blowing those up as well. And you can see that the effect from not only it passing through and blowing them up, but both specters now swatting at icicles, there seems to be a domino effect, which ripples out through the cavern ceiling, and icicles are starting to fall through the air. And you can see other ice bats now swooping down and snatching them out and disappearing. But there's just this like rain of giant icicles coming down around you, and the bats you're riding are expertly dodging through them. It is going to take all of their action and movement to do so. If you allow them to continue, it will not require any rolls on their part. If you decide you want the bats to do anything in particular, they will need to actually roll acrobatics. But for now, you're in the ride of a lifetime as they are just dipping and diving through all of these icicles. And you can see them crashing down and exploding on the ground. Triss.
Oh, do I get to go now?
You do. Next time, darling, try not to roll a 7 during initiative.
Ooh, she's sassy.
Well, look, I've got this packet of pink dust, and I don't know what the fuck it does. So I'd like to attach it to one of my arrows and shoot it at one of the specters.
I love it. Believe me, I do. But just tell me more about this package of pink dust.
It literally says packet of pink dust. I don't know what it does. At the very worst, hopefully it'll stick to it so it can't go all corporeal again. Or whatever, ghosty, invisible. And at the best, it blows them up.
Okay, give me just a second here.
Or it tastes like bubble gum.
Oh, that could be it too.
Arguably worse.
Okay.
Great.
Which little part of your character sheet is it on there? Oh,
It's
probably in
under
inventory.
equipment at the very bottom. Other
Okay.
possessions. I have a scroll of pedigree and a small packet filled with pink dust. Oh no.
Okay. You have a packet full of pink dust. I'm just going to decide what to do about this. Oh boy, Triss, you sneaky little rogue, you.
Don't let him modify it.
Okay. Triss, you tie it onto one of your arrows and take aim. Roll.
Oh god, it's been not very good lately.
And you're aiming at the blind one?
Oh yes, 11.
You get to roll with advantage
Okay,
because Naomi color sprayed it right in the face.
21.
Yes, that will
Oh, yo.
do it. So, as you pull the arrow back, you can see a little tag hanging off of the package.
Oh no.
And there is some very trendy branding, and it says apothecary, and underneath Lulu's love dust.
Oh no.
Roll damage.
No.
Oh no. 7.
Okay. That's going to be cut in half and rounded up, so you're only going to deal 4. The arrow cracks into this thing's skull, and the package of pink dust explodes, coating the entire specter in
In
we're
love.
just gonna say pink glitter. Every time it goes transparent, it now has a very obvious pink glow. And something will happen on its turn. It's going to roll a save.
Should get interesting.
It does not pass. Okay, so something will happen on its turn. But you deal 4 damage. And the arrow initially pierces the skull, like I said, the dust powders. It goes transparent, and you see the arrow fall away. But there is an obvious hole in the skull where the arrowhead did pierce through before it goes. The way that I see these happening is, and I love this movie, and I love bringing it up, especially when we're talking about D&D. But in The Matrix Reloaded, when they're in the car, and Morpheus is having that dope fight with one of the twins in the back seat, and they finally get the katana and shove it through the ghost, and he goes ghost-like and floats out of the car. That's what these dudes are doing.
You know?
Yeah, I know that you haven't seen The Matrix Reloaded anytime soon, and nobody else has, and nobody's going to get the reference except my man David, who's my Matrix Reloaded bro.
No, I just watched it like 4 months ago, so...
Right?
So
It's
you
like,
know
it's a
exactly
long-
what I'm talking about.
It's a long pandemic, you know. There's a lot of movies watched.
Yeah, we went through The Matrix. That was one of
Mhm.
the trilogies.
Yeah,
Us too.
there's only so many trilogies that are watchable.
Right.
Okay, Naomi. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
okay.
Iratran,
Yes.
fast as fuck, Iratran. Iratran, you're up.
It's time to wreck him a little bit more. All right, so he's running into stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and slap him across the face with my scimitar.
Okay,
By slap, I mean slash.
you're attacking the same one you've been fighting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oof. 9.
That ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
They aren't wearing armor, but they have a, they don't have a 9 AC, unfortunately. You swing, and this time the Spectre anticipates the blow and goes transparent, and your sword passes through, dealing no damage. Roll your second attack.
All right, and just as he comes back in, boom, there's a sword in him. 14.
That will do it. Roll damage.
11.
Okay. You stab your sword into the Spectre's skull, which explodes. It does not have time to go transparent before it collides with one of the icicles that's falling off of the ceiling. And they tumble to the floor of the valley and just fracture into 1,000 glowing crystals. Well played. Iratran has slain the first Spectre. Which brings us to Naomi.
Yes. Okay. Is the one that just bit it the not blind one?
The one that just bit it is the not blind one. The
Okay.
blind one will only be blind until its turn.
Okay. I would like to. Okay. I want to cast Minor Illusion and see if I can create the sound of the bat that we're riding on, the wings, the squeaky little noises, and like Doppler effect that sound past the Spectre to see if I can draw it off
Okay.
of us and like send it back in the other direction.
Okay. It's going to make a saving throw. You're using a sound in particular?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Okay.
sort of like, yeah, bat wings, bat noises.
Sure. It's not going to need to roll at disadvantage because you're using a sound. And because of some stuff that's happening right now, it's actually going to roll at advantage. That's pretty good. What is your spell save DC? I'm also looking. I'm looking at your little.
Okay.
spell
I'm not
sheet.
sure that I know.
They're
that
usually
is.
kind of low. Spell save DC is 13 for Naomi.
Where do you see that? Just so I know. Oh, it's right there. I just.
It's
found
on
it. Okay,
spells.
great.
Yeah. Okay. So, you can see Naomi as you cast what is a perfect imitation of a bat noise far off. That the Spectre pays it absolutely no mind because it is not actually looking at the bat anymore. It's looking at Triss. And it is now the Spectre's turn.
Oh my god.
The Spectre is going to use its movement to close the gap and actually come along right behind you, Triss. And it's going to roll a grapple.
Oh, wow. It's very
You may
forward.
contest this with either acrobatics or athletics. Okay. Second one's
19.
better, but it ain't great. Yeah, okay. This thing's got a fucked up strength score. It's -5. Okay, so you are able to. Were you rolling acrobatics?
Yes.
You are able to squirm out of the way, but you can see that the Spectre is now hovering around behind you, trying to spoon you. It is making cooing noises that are kind of ghostly and disturbing, where it's like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh, wow.
and the little holes that make up its eyes, after it goes transparent and becomes corporeal again, you can actually see that they've grown into the shape of a heart.
No.
Rather than just regular skull eyelets. And it is now bobbing around you, just trying to give you a little specter hug. But that is its turn. And it is your turn now, Triss.
Oh my god.
And as of the specter's turn, it is no longer blind.
Well, can I talk?
Love is blind, so.
Can I talk to it?
You may try to use your turn to do that if you'd like.
Excuse me, Mr. Specterface. I seem to notice that you've taken quite a fancy with me. And I think that the greatest show of love you could do would be to sacrifice your life. So could you maybe do that?
Why don't you roll whatever you want, and I'm going to state the DC out loud.
Oh,
because even with spells that let you tell things to do what they want to do, whenever you tell something to kill itself, it usually doesn't listen. So
wait, so I get advantage because it's got the potion on it.
Because it's got love powder on it, you can. But the DC is 21.
No, it's 12.
Okay. The Spectre says, I'm already dead.
Ew. I didn't really think about that. That's really sad. And I suppose
Kenzo, Argus, RIP, and Puck, thank you for the bits.
Was that my action?
Yes. I kind of tried to like hint at you.
Well, I didn't know if it was my movement or my action, because technically I was moving my mouth.
The way that just going forward, the way that I see it is this. Anything that you want to do that doesn't require a roll does not require it to be an action. But anything that you do that requires a roll, so if you're going to use your turn to like find something's weakness, then you'd be rolling perception. That will take an action. And if you would have hit this DC, we would have talked about what would have happened. It might have been good for you. But probably. As it is, Irritran.
Nice. I'm feeling pretty good. That one's not paying attention to me, right? Do I get a...
No, it's really invested in giving Triss a hug.
I can't sneak up on it then, can I? Or can I? Because he's never been paying attention to me at all.
Sneak for a fighter ain't doing
quite
much.
I'm going to be like, excuse me while I stab you. Let's go ahead and fly up behind and do a little scimitar short sword combo. It seems to be working.
Sure. The bat weaves between falling icicles and comes up alongside, putting you within melee range. Roll your first attack.
22.
Beautiful. Roll damage.
I really love this +7.
It's nice.
Yeah. 8.
Okay, that's going to be cut in half, but you cleave a good section of this thing's shoulder and arm off, and the icicles tinkle away before it is able to turn transparent and your blade passes through. It is now technically bloodied. Second attack.
All right, it's all it's like, I'm going to wait until it's corporeal and I'll stab it with short sword with... I think that's the 3rd crit I've rolled today.
Yo.
All right, roll both your dice.
I'm magical. And 11.
That is pretty good. 6 of that gets through. And you take off this thing's entire arm and cut the sheet that's kind of covering it in half. So it flutters away and is now an armless, floating popsicle of a skeleton.
Quit trying to be my friend.
But it is still trying to, it looks to you and says, oh, I don't understand. And it's still reaching for Triss.
Was it Don Knotts?
Yeah, a little bit. Naomi, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna blind the sad torso with color spray.
Hit it. It doesn't require a save. So you shoot another puff of color into its face, and you actually fill it up, its eyes up, so its face looks like it's been running that race parade celebration where they throw paint at you. It just looks like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Triss, it is going to try and give you a hug again on its turn at disadvantage.
Is it going to damage me with a hug? Seems a little...
It's not actually trying to hurt you.
Oh.
It's just trying to grapple you. But you can roll acrobatics or strength to contest. You are trying to beat a 2.
Wow.
Well, it's a
That's
plus
color
roll,
spray
so-
for you.
17.
That's the number
That will do it.
have.
Triss, you managed to worm your way out, and it is your turn.
Look, I think you're sweet and all, but this could never, ever work. And
You're not even giving me a chance.
I'm sorry. And I touch where there should be a heart, and with one hand, and then I take my rapier and I jam it in.
Roll it. You get advantage.
That's a 25.
That's going to hit. Roll damage.
11.
You put your hand where its heart should be, and it says, just to be clear, you shot the love powder at me. And then you pierce it with the rapier, and it explodes as it collides with an icicle. And the bats swoop away in time so that nobody needs to roll a dex save. And the shrapnel tinkles away. You have defeated the specters.
Woohoo!
Oh,
There is the echo as the one which is falling down to the valley floor says, I'll never forget you.
Turn to take a hint.
Okay. With that, you make it to the other side of the chasm safely. The bats dodge the last couple icicles that are falling through and then land and slide to safety on the other side. You step on. Steph, shout out. Thank you for the gift sub. Okay. The bats who are Florb and Norgit. Florb does not look great. Florb's max HP actually got dropped down 12 points. So Florb looks just like the blue is gone. He just looks like white now, and kind of his wings are a bit more transparent. But he's still alive. And he says, well, okay, it seems that we've done our part. So hopefully we haven't sided with the oppressors.
Florb, your contributions have brought us closer to eradicating a force of great, great evil, and we'll never forget you. Thank you for everything you did. You guys were amazing.
You're welcome. And now that we're on this side of the chasm, we're just going to have to cross back through the specter field to get back to our family.
Yeah. Yes. That's true.
We'll fly low. If that
Unless you want to come,
Ooh.
you know, we've got all kinds of oppressors in this direction. You know, you could do a lot over here. But no pressure.
No, we not interested even in the slightest, but thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you for your candor.
don't really blame you.
No, not at all.
They say, oh, well, good luck or whatever. And they just go to the edge of the cliff and they dive off and float up. And then as they're flying and dipping through so gracefully between the icicles, this cloud of specters comes down off of the ceiling and narrowly misses them, and the bats fly away.
Oh,
And you
come on.
assume that they're okay.
They'll never take
Okay. There is a passageway on this side of the cliff.
Hmm.
And as you step into it, the floor collapses beneath you and you fall.
Mm.
You find yourself sliding out of control. through darkness and biting frost, you luge down and down, gaining speed and banging sharply against the walls. Everybody give me a dexterity saving throw.
Freaking Winter Olympics over here. Ice skating, ice luge.
Oh my
Natural
God.
20.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh, no, that was a 7. Okay, 13.
13. Oh, 14. Hey.
Nat 20, so that's a 25.
Naomi, you take 0 damage. Triss and Iratran, you take half damage. I rolled a 2. You take 1. This is just from bouncing and banging around on these hills. Naomi seems to be built for this, and the two of you do okay, but it takes you a while, and you scuff up your elbows.
Does anybody have a healing pack?
Or some Neosporin.
Yeah, we do have a
As you
healing
are
pack.
Oh, we do.
plummeting down this slope, the kaleidoscope of ice and shadow and glints of light make you lose sense and orientation, time, and pain. When finally you come to a long, slow stop, you find you've arrived in the deepest corridors of the underground temple. It seems as though on that little luge you did in that kaleidoscope, there was perhaps some magic. It felt reminiscent of the portal in which you passed through to get there. And perhaps there was something there as well. Down here, the halls are covered with ice still, like the cave, but these are carved in ornate. Before you is a tri-road intersection, at the center of which is a frozen fountain. Even the cascading streams are frozen on it, like a mirror. What would you like to do?
How far down the roads can we see?
You can see, especially you and Iratran can see, I think you've got like 60 feet of dim light. You can see a pretty good way. They all are longer than that. So at the end of your vision, they are just dark.
They all just disappear into the same version of darkness.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to investigate the tunnels themselves, the fountain, the room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would you like to take a look at, Iratran?
I would like to investigate the fountain.
Sure. This one isn't going to require a roll. As you're looking around at the fountain, Iratran, what are the other two doing?
Are there, like on the walls, are there any sort of interesting storytelling mosaics or friezes that could provide clues to what happens here?
Yeah. I think that there would be. There's languages here, several of them, that you can tell are from older races, as though... what all do you speak? You guys both speak... A couple of you speak Gnomish, right?
Gnomish, yeah.
Elvish, Dwarvish, Thieves' Cant.
Yeah,
just
okay.
Gnomish in common.
You can see there is no common down here, but there is what appears to be archaic forms of Gnomish, Dwarven, and Elven. It is an older version of the language, so a full translation will not be possible for you. But what you gather is that it's the same type of language or message translated into multiple languages. There are some cryptic fragments that you pick up that are kind of like what Almi said to you when she said there is only one path, but many. There's a lot of that kind of repeated imagery throughout these languages. And then as you look at these frescoes, which are just all over the walls, they're actually behind a sheet of thin ice, as though there was water that washed down these walls and froze in place. They seem to be like kind of like a graphic novel. There's like frames that form different rows, and they're in lines. And so for each of them, let's say they're all 5 frames long. For each of them, the first 3 frames are always the same. A person approaches the fountain, makes an offering, there is some kind of magic, and then the 2 frames after it are different for each sequence. And you get the impression that there is only one path, but many results. And so as each person, it's always the same person. That's the thing. Like the first 3 frames are always the same. It's not different people approaching the fountain. It's the same figure. They look like an elf. They approach the fountain. There's something that happens, and then their future is changed afterwards.
Oh boy.
Iratran's going to look at the fountain, and I'm going to tell him what happens, but I just want to give you guys a chance before he does. So Triss, is there anything you want to look at?
Well, if I'm going to be totally honest, my action was going to be to toss a coin into the fountain before you said all that stuff about the stuff on the ice. So
She's like, coin ready. The fountain looks like a fountain that would be gurgling and bubbling and falling down several tiers, but the entire thing was frozen mid-stream.
Right. It was going to be what I was going to do to look for traps. So
Yeah, sure. Roll just roll perception.
All right. Oh, God, 6. Oof.
Yeah,
Distracting.
looks pretty safe in here.
Cool. Looks good, guys. Looks good.
All right, Iratran heads towards the fountain. Is anybody going to join him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come investigate this frozen thing with me. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. All of you start looking around the fountain. What you notice is that the water that's been frozen mid-fall is completely smooth and reflective. And the longer you stare at it, the more mirror-like it becomes. What is revealed are strange reflections of yourself, but they're like rainbow prisms, and they're moving around in a very hypnotic fashion. So you see yourself, but it's as though your reflection is, it's like you're seeing 100 different reflections of yourself being overlaid on top of each other. And it is a very trippy experience. It kind of locks you in. And as you gaze deeper into this reflection, the world shifts off its axis. Your mind fractures and you are transported. Triss.
Shouldn't have eaten the ice shrooms. Damn it.
Or should I say Beatrice?
Oh.
Your bed is warm and stifling. You've slept late again, and though you quite enjoy breaking the rules, it's also important to show up pressed and dressed best as one can be. Davrim, your butler, enters and opens the blinds. Part of you wonders who that man is. You're not familiar with Davrim, but you know he's your butler. Looking about the room, you notice it's quite different than you would expect. It's larger, it's nicer. It even has its own fireplace and built-in mantles that are covered in various trophies that you've collected over the years. You know they're yours, you know you've collected them, but you're not sure you remember how.
Mum, apologies, but it's time to begin the day,
Davrin says, with a droll tone he's used 1,000,000 times before.
It is, of course, your birthday, and as you have decided against the celebration, canceling it at the last minute, I was wondering how you would like to spend it instead.
Oh. It's very odd. I don't usually cancel celebrations. I suppose riding my horse.
Okay. You get up and get dressed, and as you stand before the mirror to prepare, you can see that the woman looking back at you is in her probably late 50s, early 60s. It is you, but your hair is tactfully graying. And when the clothes are laid out before you by Davrim, you can see that they are the clothes befitting a baroness. They are the types of clothes that your mother would have worn.
Oh. Whoa. So I still have all my teeth?
the important questions.
No. You're missing several of the ones in back. And as you feel them with your tongue, you get a sense of we'll say, a hobgoblin in some unknown dungeon hitting, just connecting with a right hook and knocking stars into your eyes right before you sent your rapier through his chest.
Season 2
as you look over to
spoilers.
the mantle, you can see there is a golden horn that you are positive came from that very same dungeon.
Oh my god. All right, I want to get out of this room, basically. I want to go see
Sure.
what's going on.
And you're heading to the stables?
Yes.
Sure.
Going to try to find Jer, I guess.
When you get to the stables, Jer is not there. And the stable keep is someone whom you do not recognize. With a little bit of chit-chat, he does inform you that the stable master who you would have known, Jer's guardian, passed, probably 15 years prior, just from old age. And this is the stable master who he'd been apprenticing.
What can I do for you, my lady?
Oh, well, I would like to go for a ride because it's my birthday. And this dawns on me. Would the Baron like to go with me?
My lady jests.
Yeah. All right, let's take. I would just like to take the horse out to
Sure.
to ride
Which
the ground.
horse can I prepare?
The fast one.
Sure.
He goes back into the stable, and it doesn't take long before he comes out with a very sleek, very powerful looking animal. And the name Dollop comes into your mind. But it is just a chestnut colored horse, and says,
Your fastest horse, my lady.
Right. Do you remember my horse Twilight?
Oh, we all remember Twilight, my lady. Yes.
I can't seem to remember. How long ago did she pass away?
Pass away? That horse ain't never gonna die, my lady.
Oh, could I see her, please?
I've heard that she appears in the far pasture every once in a while. I'm sure you could ride Dollop out there and maybe catch a glimpse.
Right, thank you so much. Just forgetful these days. And I would like to get on the horse and ride it over to where you said to go.
Sure. It's a very pleasant ride. Your body does not feel like it usually does, and it is very quickly stiff after the long ride, but you are still in great shape, and you do know how to handle the animal. And so you ride for probably an hour and a half through your property, and as you pass through, glimpses of memories come through, but what you see really is just times of peace and of meditation, but ultimately times of being alone. None of these memories contain a familiar face. And then you make it to the back pasture. There are woods which border your property, and you dismount and stand in the field. And you wait, and you wait. And eventually, you do hear a whinny, and Twilight steps from the trees. And probably goes 10 paces closer to you, but still leaving a distance. The first thing to notice about Twilight is that she has not aged a day.
At all?
At all.
Oh my god. I wonder what her secret is.
Maybelline.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Don't you
crazy
mean
because
Maybelline?
just save it for your TikToks, you guys, okay?
No.
It's very obvious that the horse has not aged because you've aged The people that you've asked about have passed away. The property itself, the woods here were just planted, like when you were younger. And so they've matured. Like there is just so much change here, but Twilight has not aged.
How is this possible? Will she let me ride her? I want to see what...
Roll animal handling.
No, yes. I will definitely do that.
I've written a
21.
number down for the... You approach Twilight and get only a few steps before she starts to back away. And she actually starts to rear up and twist her head and make sounds of distress. Would you like to try and get closer?
Yes.
I will let you roll again.
14.
Okay. As you try and get closer, Twilight very quickly turns around and runs back into the forest without even a backwards glance and leaves you in the field alone.
Well, I don't like it here, so I would like to leave.
Sure. Where would you like to go?
Back to my real life. Do I realize I'm in a dream or an illusion?
Dream is not the right word.
Alternate reality.
Sure. As you jump onto the horse and start riding and riding and riding, looking for where you might be able to leave this place, everything you see seems to spark a memory in you. And so you're remembering it for the first time. And you can see that over the course of your life, starting with the moment that you killed Eston, you have a very clear image of plunging your rapier through his neck and feeling his blood wash over your hand. That things changed very quickly. You needed to finally accept your responsibilities to prevent people like Eston from getting power anymore. And that required a lot of sacrifice. And as you ride through your property and get again this sense of peacefulness, meditation, but ultimately loneliness, you can see that you decided not to marry, not to have children, to throw yourself into your role as Baroness, and to really focus on keeping your people and this place safe. And it is this feeling, this solidity to the world that created itself after Eston was killed, that you are left with as the illusion dissolves around you. Naomi, you're in shackles, and you're in a jail cell, which is familiar to you because you were just at this place. It is an underground secret prison called Cazarella Rock, which you recently traveled through in order to try and stop and fail Eston. Sitting across from you, also in shackles, is your best friend Popo.
Yes! Oh my god. Wow.
This place feels real. It feels substantial. You touch the dirt on the bare floor and it feels like dirt. The shackles around your wrist do not hurt because the skin beneath them is so calloused from what must have been a very long time. And as you touch that flesh, you are assaulted with the memory of countless days and countless nights in this cell underground, working in the mines alongside Popo, sharing the endless hours. And Popo catches you kind of falling into these memories and says, "What? You're getting that weird look in your eyes again." Oh, we should describe Popo for the stream here. Would you describe Popo to us, please?
Oh, I'd love to. Okay, so you know how a volleyball is. It's circular and three-dimensional. So imagine that with little arms and a little head and no neck and like little piddly feet like this, and just a total vacuum of any sense of personal property or loyalty or solidarity with one's friends.
Okay. Also a gnome, right? Popo's a gnome.
Oh yeah, to be clear.
Okay, they're a gnome. Okay. And so Popo says, "Yeah, well, you got that weird look in your eye again, Naomi."
I had that weird dream again, when where we got like pardoned for everything that brought us here. The recurring. I've told you about that, right?
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
bums me out.
Yeah, me too. So sorry, it kind of threw me. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I've asked you this before, but do you think that would happen? Do you like what do you think? What's the over under on that?
No, I don't think so. After after we broke in here and sprung Bryce, I know that Irritran's dead and all, but he killed so many of the guards on the way out, and so I feel like maybe we're having to pay for that.
Yeah, you know what I keep hoping? Well, do you think Bryce might come back and try to do us a solid?
You mean
know?
like as a ghost?
Yes. That's what I meant. Of course.
Yeah,
Weirder
I'm
things
sure-
have happened, I mean, I told you about the ice bats.
Yeah, those sound pretty weird.
In the middle of this conversation, specifically as you're thinking, like, would Bryce come back and do us a solid? Like, what are our options? You can see the little tree of decision making that brought you here in this flash of memories. It kind of cuts through the doldrums of so many days and nights spent here as you evaluate it. It seemed that after you killed Eston, and you have a very clear sense of the boomerang leaving your hand and just connecting with his windpipe and dealing the final blow, it really solidified your relationship to the party, and you decided to forgive Popo and help Irritran as his two little thieves rescue his friend Bryce. And that is what landed you in this place. And as you're kind of going over that in your head, one of the guards walks by running one of his cudgel against the bars and says, "All right, enough fucking about. It's time for you all to go. We got a report of a tipped over cart in the deep mines, and I'm sending the two of you down to get it."
I'm sorry. There's an upended cart full of ore, and you want the two of us to flip it over?
Not
Do you
ore.
see?
It's priceless gems.
Oh. Yeah, let's go. Let's do that. Let's get right on that. Okay. Here, let's go.
Sure. Because of the way that Kazarelarak is run, you're not even locked in this cell. You just have these shackles on, and the guard undoes them and allows you and Popo to head towards the deep mines. If you remember your time here, you pass through the large prison floor into the initial mine. Past that would be the Neverfield, where you came across those horrors. But there's a different path that leads deeper down into the deep mines. And Popo says, "I really hate going down here, man. It's totally dangerous."
Well, yeah, but it breaks up the monotony, right?
Yeah, I suppose it does. So
Look on the bright side, my dude. Let's go.
Okay. The abandoned mine shaft, which you enter into, is quiet as a grave. The minecart rails run past your torchlight in a mocking, unending line of steel that disappears into the dark. An hour passes following this line. You've seen nothing but darkness, wood-bearing arches, and the unending twists of the tunnel. The deep mines are deep. Is there anything you want to say or ask Popo as you walk down?
Popo, I know, I really was thrown by that dream, and I know I probably keep bringing this up, but why'd you do it, man? Why'd you do it?
Why'd I do what?
Why'd you take it? You know, you could have left well enough alone. You could have let everything be cool. But I just, I feel like you just set off this. I wouldn't have been at that stupid inn trying to get you out of the stupid inn. Then I wouldn't have met everybody. Then I wouldn't have, let Eston out of the prison thing, which honestly is still really weighing on my conscience, And basically I've decided it's your fault because you couldn't keep your grubby hands to yourself.
Listen, Naomi. I've got a wealth of bad decisions that I've made on my own and a whole bunch of baggage, okay? I don't have space on this back to carry your bullshit too.
You know what? You're right. It's unfair to burden you with my trauma. That was an uncool move. I'm sorry. I'm being a bad friend.
Plus,
Let's just go get these gems.
I lost that marble a long time ago.
I'd managed to repress that. You what?
I lost that marble a long time ago.
You lost it. You lost it?
Well, I was holed up in that inn for a long time. The last oak, they wouldn't let me out. And, I had a guard. And we got to playing cards, and I thought I had a pretty good hand. And I was trying to get his belt buckle off of him, so I put the marble on the table, and one thing led to another, and,
I'm sorry, you traded that for a belt buckle?
No, I didn't get the belt buckle. I lost the hand. I didn't get anything. I traded it for nothing.
No, I mean, you put it on the table against a belt buckle.
Oh, you should have seen it. It had a bottle opener in it, and it looked like maybe an award for some kind of horse riding competition. It was about that big.
Yeah, the bottle opener's pretty good. That's pretty good. I can't argue with that. Well, Popo, if we ever get out of here, maybe you can help me track that guy down. I'll get you the belt buckle. How about that?
Okay, thanks, Naomi. You two go very deep. You just about thinking you've been sent on a fool's errand when you do find something. It's a very big something blocking the tracks. It seems there's been a cave-in, but you realize that your small stature makes you perfect to crawl through and investigate. So you and Popo squeeze through. On the other side, you both let out a sigh of relief that there's only an overturned cart, as the guard said. One of the sides is smashed in, and its contents are spilled all over the ground. Now, these aren't gems, Popo says, picking up one of the lumps of just plain ore. Shit. Well, we're way down here. We should just make a break for it. Find some other way out of here, once and for all.
You want to go further in to get out? I don't know if that tracks.
Well, I don't know. And he sniffs the rock, then pulls it away and sniffs the air and says, "You smell that?" But before you can answer, a massive creature with green-gray skin, shaggy, matted locks, a hook nose, and arms almost as long as the length of its body steps into the light. Troll! Popo manages and begins to run, but the troll smashes one giant fist into the roof of the cavern and creates another cave-in, blocking you in from both directions. Roll initiative.
Oh my god.
Troll gets 15.
Okay, that's a 10.
You go after the troll.
Yeah.
And Popo gets a 4.
No.
The troll is going to go. He is going to go after Popo. He's going to try and grapple. That is a 25 to grapple. I rolled a 19. No. He's got a +6 for strength because he's a fucking troll. Popo is going to contest that with acrobatics and roll a 2. He's dexterous, but not that dexterous. That would only put him up to like a 6. So the troll lumbers forward and scoops Popo into the air, whose little feet are kicking wildly, and begins to bring it towards its mouth.
It is now your turn, Naomi.
Oh my god. Okay, what's my shackle situation? Am I cuffed together in any way, or am I just
No,
like...
the guard
okay.
released your hands.
Okay.
You guys are really only put together like in downtime. Your
Okay.
like arms are only really locked during downtime.
Okay, got it. And there's not. I don't have anything on me. I'm just in my sweet prison
You're
outfit.
just-
Right.
yes, you're
Yeah.
just in
Okay.
rags.
My jail PJs.
Yes.
Okay, great. Pick up a rock. Go for the noggin.
Okay. Roll it. This is going to be an improvised weapon, but you'll just roll it with your dex modifier and not get your proficiency bonus.
Okay. Well, that's a 7. So.
Okay. The troll does not have a great AC, but it does have higher than 7. The rock goes wide. It seems that in your fear, you've thrown it off. Popo's going to go now. He's going to try and break the grapple. Yeah, right. He crits. He fucking crits.
My dude.
He just kind of like through and then lands on the troll's hands, and he's standing there in front of the troll's mouth, and he's going to take a swing. He rolls a 17 and punches the troll in the eye, dealing 1 plus his strength modifier, so probably just 1. He deals 1 damage. The troll wheels backwards. Popo's just kind of like balancing on it. And then it's the troll's turn. On the troll's turn, you can see him open his eye, and the small bit of damage is regenerated.
Oh my god.
He then eats Popo. He takes
What?
Popo and shoves Popo into his mouth because he was still standing on his hands. He shoves him into his mouth whole and starts trying to swallow him without really chewing. I'm going to give Popo an opportunity to do one thing. Yeah, okay. As he's trying to eat Popo, you do see Popo's hand reach out and then his head, and he says, "I never lost it. I totally keistered this thing." And he's holding a brilliant blue marble into the air. And then slowly he slides down the troll's throat, and you see the marble sinking into the troll's mouth until it is gone.
Like
And
the One
troll
Ring.
swallows it. And now Popo is in the troll's belly. It is your turn.
What on the planet Earth? Okay, do I need spell components to be able to cast stuff?
Yes.
Fuck. Okay. Okay, well, can I just try and climb this thing like a tree and stab it in the eyeball?
Absolutely.
With the rock.
Okay. Just roll to attack. I
Okay.
think that if you roll high enough, we'll factor in the climb into it. You are dexterous.
Okay, that's a
You've got a plus
what's the
5
mod
dex.
for this one? It's just my dexterity mod?
Yeah.
Okay, 12.
Yeah, you're able to climb up. You just hit his AC. He's got natural armor. And you're going to try and
Just jam a rock into his eyeball.
Sure. Okay. Roll a d4
Okay.
and add your strength modifier to it, which is 6.
Okay, that's so take away my strength modifier. Wait. Oh, it's a 3.
Okay. You stab a rock into the troll's eye and it screams. And then it grabs you and hurls you across the mine shaft back towards the pile of rocks. And then you smash against them. I'm going to roll damage. 5, 6. So that makes it 13. 14. 66, by the way. Okay, that's going to be about 20 damage. And breaks your body against the rocks. Iratren.
Ahoy.
I should say, Naomi, that as you feel all of your bones break, you gasp and take a step back and find yourself looking into that ice mirror. Iratren. The evergreens of the Iritzoic woods stand tall and magnificent. A family of deer drink from a nearby pond. It's been 3 days, and you're beginning to think your liaison got cold feet. It's late morning, and you pick up your twin blades to work off some of your irritation. As you're going through your movements, Hume, Argus's son, standing behind you, says, "Which do you love more, Iritran, sword or sea?"
Huh. Well, that's a tough thing to say. I always have a handle on my sword. But the seas always have my heart.
And as you turn to look at him for just a moment, he looks so much like his father, you almost call him Argus.
Well, one of these days I'll show you my favorite part of the ocean.
I look forward to it. Hopefully, when these negotiations wrap up, we won't need to stay here much longer.
Aye.
I just wonder where Losto is. He's been taking forever.
So these negotiations, what happens if they go south?
Well, the northern and southern tribes of elves will remain at war as they have been for a very long time. If we're able to back Losto, there's a chance that we'll be able to use his influence to solidify the treaty that I and before me, my father, had worked together on for so long, that we might be able to find unity within the tribes. But I must ask you again, Iritran, and it is difficult for me, but although Losto was the elf who put the blood oath out on my father, he is the only leader worthy of bringing the southern tribe to the negotiation table. We must put our faith in him.
Okay. And just turn out and look over the fantastic view.
Sure. At that moment, Losto walks out of the woods. You've seen Southern Elves before because they were hunting Argus. They don't wear much armor. It looks like it was fashioned by hand and yet is very... It's just like... If you were to buy this in a shop, it would be very expensive. It just looks form-fitting, perfectly crafted. There are tattoos across Losto's face and shoulders, and he is holding a short bow at his side, casually, as most of the elves do. He's wearing a sword and has a quiver of arrows on his back. And he approaches and says, "I apologize for my late arrival. I was seeing to some things."
I'm sure. So let's get this going.
Sure. You guys walk through Iritzoic towards the meeting place. Hume is quiet and takes up the flank position on your little line, but Losto travels alongside you, Argus, and repeatedly tries to make small talk. Sorry, not Argus, Iritran. The death weighs heavily on me. I see Argus's face in everyone, in each of my NPCs. Iritran, he's trying to make small talk with you as though simply to pass the time. And after several attempts at rather surface level conversation fail, he does say, "You were close to Argus?"
Aye.
"Yes, it is unfortunate the way that turned out. I so wish that he could have seen his mission through, and then we wouldn't be in the position we're in now."
It might be best we not talk of him.
"Well, if you expect me to restore his honor and bestow all of the accomplishments of this treaty onto his name, I would prefer not to do that to someone I'm not allowed to speak about."
Let's just say, don't speak of him to me.
Was it not your request that his honor be restored as part of this treaty?
This is for him, yes. But for your
You think?
let's not speak to him. Does not speak of him to me.
Sure. It seems that you and he had similar views on things, because this treaty, though you find it to be in his name, is much larger than he ever was. And if he realized that from the beginning, we wouldn't be in this position.
It seems you're not taking my meaning. There's not much keeping my blade from cutting you in twain. I suggest stop speaking of my friend.
Of course. I can see that your time amongst the humans has made you an emotional and reactionful being.
I keep walking in silence.
Sure. He follows. He stops trying to make small talk with you and talks a little bit with Hume. Hume feels the same way you do, Iratran, though he is not so forward about it. He tends to just try and ignore Losto. But when you arrive into a gathering of elves unlike any you've ever seen. It is a rather uncomfortable energy that you enter into. There are representatives from many different tribes of elves here. You can see the difference not only among the southern tribes in and amongst themselves. You can see that though they share a lot of the same qualities to their armor and tattoos, each tribe has a unique look. The northern tribes are even more different. Shout out to Hot Wife for 10 gift subs!
Woo!
The northern elves seem to wear less armor. Their garb reminds you of what Argus's rags must have looked like before he spent so many years in exile, but they wear flowing clothes. Their bows are thinner, more elegant, probably more accurate, and could shoot farther, but probably with less power. Their blades, too, are also a bit more refined and a bit thinner. But you find that they are all... The leaders of each tribe are seated around a table, and then there are representatives that they've brought with them, kind of their aides, you might say, standing behind each of the leaders. And Losto takes a place at the head of the table. And Hume points you to a place at the opposite end of the table, Iratran. Seated across from Losto, though there will be about 15 feet of this table between you. And Hume, as you're being seated, says, now, I don't know. He's whispering to you, obviously trying to keep this from some of the other elves. And he says, I do not entirely trust Losto, especially with the way that he was handling himself on the walk here. All of that business should have been handled before we got here. You will be expected to make a statement, Iratran, to open the proceedings. It might help for you to establish the reinstating of my father's name and honor into the northern tribes during this statement, so that it could not be so easily overlooked.
I'm not good with speaking with people, but I'll do my best.
Okay. As you approach the table, everyone stands. They rise to meet you, Iratran, and they look to you expectantly. That uncomfortable vibe that you're getting, there's nothing secret about it. These tribes have been at war for a long time, and simply being in the presence of each other is making everyone uncomfortable. But other than that, there's nothing crazy going on. There's just people. Nobody's sure how this is going to go. And so they look to you expectantly for your opening statements. You can make them as brief or as long as you'd like. They're not going to be taken into the legal aspects of this treaty. It is more a ceremonial position that Argus would have taken, but it has now been brought to you.
All right, I unclasp my swords and put them on the table.
Okay.
I don't know much about your customs. I know nothing about your conflict. But an elf died trying to bring you all together. He laid down his life. He laid down his dignity. He laid down everything he had. It would be a dishonor for such sacrifice, for us not to at least entertain some sort of peace for the generations to come. So, this humble pirate asks that you not see me as I am, but see the elf that I represent. The elf that wanted nothing more than to see everyone together. Okay. And then I sit down.
Beautiful. You would have been making this roll at disadvantage because of the circumstances of the meeting, but I liked what you said enough that I'm going to negate that. So just give me a straight roll of, you can choose persuasion or performance.
Both of them are -1.
Oh no, I was looking at Naomi's sheet.
Yeah, he is not charming. He is a cutty person. Jesus Christ. I need to check my computer. I think I just rolled another crit. That's not statistically.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna reset real fast, refresh, because that seems like, as much as I want that to be like dope, that's like 3 in a row. Let's go ahead and do a performance then.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take an 11, although that other one would have been nice.
You can see, especially among the leaders of the northern tribe, that they are nodding along with what you're saying, though not all of them, and very few of the southern tribe leaders are. And then, what happened? Okay, yeah. It seems we're getting an overwhelming call at chat to take the crit, which I would have allowed. You're a fool for refreshing your computer, baby. You roll crits as long as you can.
Okay, fine. I rolled a crit with a -1%.
Sure. In that case, all of the leaders of the northern tribe are nodding along with you. Several of them you can see are fighting back tears. And several of the southern leaders are also engaged with what you're saying. So it seems that you have done well here, Iratran. Losto, however, stands, and one of the Hume actually says, I believe we'll only have one opening statement per tradition before we get into talks. And Losto says, nothing about this is traditional. Are we to listen to an elf born out of forest, and one who abandoned our people to save himself? The descendant of a father who chose the life of one over the life of many. This elf standing before you speaks of sacrifice. Would any of that have been necessary had Argus put the tribes, the peace we've strove towards for so long, before that of the individual? These sacrifices are a consequence of selfish action. I do not mean to disband this council, nor do I mean to build unity on top of traitorous deeds. I say we wipe the name of Argus from this treaty. We exile Hume to the land he chose above our people, and we send away this elf, this so-called pirate, so that we may deal with the fate of our people. Our people. Ourselves. Is it not the influence from the humans which has put pressure on us? Is it not the encroachment of outsiders onto the southern tribes which has put us into such disarray? I say we leave the voices of the outsiders on the outside, and we deal with this as elves. And he's going to roll now. He doesn't do well. Every one of the northern tribe leaders looks disgusted, as do several of the southern tribe leaders. But there are those among his southern tribe leaders that agree with him, perhaps without even needing him to have had said anything. And he's standing there now, looking at you, Iratran, seemingly nonplussed with what any of the other elves at the table have to say about his speech.
Oh, okay. So what's the alternative then, Losto? To just keep doing what you're doing? I was brought here. I was trying my best to fulfill a friend's wishes. I'm not trying to get into your politics. I don't care how you achieve peace. I just seek it.
I think that we will be more than capable of finding our way to peace without you. So if you care about these tribes as much as you say, then you may leave.
If you were so eager to seek peace before, then why am I here? Why was I necessary in the first place?
It was in the interest of some of the leaders here today that the voice of Argus be heard. And it has.
Only to be ignored by you, eh? Go on about your procedures or whatnot. And I sit back down. I guess I was seated. I'm sitting down.
Okay. Because of your role, there is no overwhelming majority that seeks that you are thrown from this session. And so Losto does not press the issue. But as the talks go, you watch, having declared that you're not interested in the politics, you watch those who are, piece by piece, rearrange the way in which this treaty will be built, and Losto heading the charge of slowly but surely removing every mention, reference, accolade in which Argus's name would have been put there, or any of his honor restored. Hume stays quiet during most of this, but as he puts a hand on your shoulder, you flash back to a memory of Argus putting a hand on your shoulder in Basa Mortok the first time you met. And you see these images flash before your eyes every step of the way. If Argus hadn't have found you, if Argus hadn't have united the group, if Argus hadn't have been there to help bring the Lich forward, you never would have ended up in the Duskwell with your flaming green scimitar buried in Eston's chest. And as you remove the blade, you get the distinct impression that if you'd never killed Eston, if you'd never been there to kill Eston, if Argus had never saved you in the desert, perhaps this war would have never happened between the elves. Perhaps they would have found peace long before now, and perhaps you wouldn't be tasked with bringing honor to a man who deserves it but surely will never see it. And as you step back, you find that you are just looking into the mirror. You're all returned to the fountain. No time has passed. Almi is there, waiting for you. Hello? Well, you made it.
No worse for the wear.
Sure, I told you we can play those odds pretty well.
I'm very happy to see that you are here. You've looked into the mirrors. I can see by the looks on your faces that you are not pleased with what you found.
I'm just thrilled to be alive.
Sure. tell me, as I can only see, well, the shadow of a fate that was not even my own. As I've explained, I'm a simulacrum. And as she says that, you can see that she seems to. You remember when she opened the portal, it seemed as though she was melting. She looks a little frazzled, and you can see that she's lacking substance, as though she did, in fact, melt, and her hair is a little damp, and her clothes are a little damp. But she says, I cannot see what the mirrors have shown you. May I ask, do you succeed in your mission?
Fine, succeed.
You have come to stop the Lich and kill the Necromancer.
I
Do
see
you?
one of those things happening. I didn't see anything about a lich.
Oh.
See that as well.
Perhaps.
We achieve the ends, but the cost is strange.
If you didn't see the Lich, but you did see the death of the Necromancer, perhaps that choice is not yet decided, and what happens after it may still be altered, including what happens with the Lich.
That's good news.
I've got some ideas of what to do with it.
Yes. I can see from the devilish look in your eyes, Eurotran, that they must be good.
They are.
Wait, so you guys only saw what happened if we went after Estin as well, but not the Lich.
No, the Lich wasn't in what I saw either.
Why would it only show us going after Estin? I mean, that's weird.
Did you say, Eurotran, that you killed Estin in this vision?
I pulled my blade from his chest.
And
Me
the
too.
other two?
I boomeranged him. I got
So
him
did
right in the
I.
neck. It was awesome.
Yep.
You see there, perhaps this is everything. If you all saw your own hand finishing Estin, it means that the future is still undecided. There is one path, but there is many. Perhaps Estin's fate is tied into your own. Interesting.
Well, can we just bypass Estin and kill the Lich, and then Estin can go and rot in a prison?
Well, I suppose you'd have to find him first.
I think prison might be too good for him. But we'll address that when we get there.
Well, I don't want to kill him if it's going to give me the future I saw. It was terrible.
You know, part of me always thought I'd end up in prison, so I'll do it. That's fine.
Would you like to look for Estin?
I feel like we should. I think.
Well, is that how we find the Lich? Is we find Estin? All right.
Are they tied together? Because our dreams didn't show that.
From everything you've seen, not in dreams, Estin has been working towards seeing the Lich come again.
All right.
To what ends or what purpose, you are able to speculate, but you have seen him working towards restoring the Lich's power.
All right. Well, then, yeah, you're right. Let's go kill him.
Okay. She says, yes, you are welcome to handle the situation however you see fit. I was told by Argus that you would resolve this one way or another. But perhaps, if you are not pleased with your futures, and the act of killing Estin seems to have set them in motion, I would merely counsel you to consider the way in which you resolve the situation. Somebody roll survival.
Mine's a +3.
The +4.
Minus something.
Oh, no.
-1. Probably better not be me.
Oh, do you want me to? I'll roll as well.
Oh shit! Hold on.
Oh no.
I think my
headphones just disconnected.
Oh. Oh yeah, Triss.
Yeah. No,
That's it. That'll do it. That'll do it.
finally, right?
I'm just that guy who like doesn't know how to use Zoom. You know, you've all seen that guy in whatever meeting. If you're finding this pleasing.
Someone tell Jesse in the chat that we critted and everything was fine.
Yes. Right.
We punched the ground and it went to the center of the earth, and then the lich like fell in.
Give me 2 seconds.
All right. You know, after this, all I want is a beer because I failed so hard at diplomacy.
Is that what happened? I didn't think that happened at all.
No.
But diplomacy means that you also have to work with assholes and you still get your way, kinda. And I don't got my way really. Well, did peace happen in this illusion?
Well, you didn't murder anyone, you know.
You know what? You're right. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Optimism.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to do any hard time, so we got you, okay?
Listen, this road leads there one way or another, so.
All right. Ooh, technical difficulties. There's a pirate in
Stand by. Dee 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 dee. Yes. All right, guys, we are having a little technical difficulty. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna show you, buckle up, the teaser trailer for our new mini series. Hold on to your butts. Here we go.
Not a problem.
Of course. Yeah.
Nice.
There's, I like it because there's the trumpet. I always love that. We all back on then? Jesse, talk.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Cool.
So we rolled a 19 for survival.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. So here's what's up. You're in a. There's 3 hallways that extend away from this fountain, and what you find are footsteps leading down all 3 of them. Almi confirms that each of these are in fact Eston's tracks. It seems he has taken all 3 paths.
What?
She says this is a place in which many futures are possible. There is a way that Eston may have found an opportunity to explore multiple paths.
How is that possible?
Well, this temple is Casey, hit me with the name of this goddess. Almi says, this is the temple of Duru Duresti. She is a god of divining, a very peculiar school of magic which involves seeing in more ways than you are accustomed to. Some are able to see the future as it might unfold. Some are able to see the future as it will unfold. And some are able to see multiple versions of the same future. The fountain here possesses some of those abilities, as you are now aware. And with powerful enough magic, there are those who are able to augment sight into something more substantial. And if Eston is in league with a lich, perhaps he has found a way to explore multiple futures. I might be able to use the last of my power, though it will extinguish this simulacrum, to show you which the true Eston went down. Is that something that you would find helpful?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. She goes to the fountain and asks for your assistance, Iratran. There is a pane of ice that is a reflective mirror, and she asks you to shatter it for her.
All right. Cast cantrip on my. Wait. I want to look her up and down. What's her deal?
Sure.
I gotta-
Roll insight.
Been fooled before. 17.
That's pretty good. There doesn't seem to be any funny business here.
Mm.
She is, while she is asking you to do this, she is also like preparing a spell. And she says, the fragment from the prescient mirror is the component I wish to use for true sight.
All right, so I have to break it and get to that.
Yeah, she's really just asking you to like bust off a piece of the mirror.
Oh, okay, well then I just take my hand axe and go.
Cool. She takes the shard. She's now melting as her magic begins to kick up. You can see that she is, in fact, melting. Who knows about magic? Do any of you guys know about magic? Do you think any of your
I know a
characters-
little bit about magic.
Roll either Arcana or Religion.
Okay, that's gonna be. Ooh. It's the same. I'll do Arcana
Okay.
because religion is the opiate of the masses. 16.
Okay, that's good enough. You know that in order to create a simulacrum, you actually use snow.
Oh,
It is one of the main components of the spell simulacra. And there seems to be a biome theme to the temple the deeper you go, as you've crossed into frozen places, a frozen fountain, and now a simulacra which was created using snow. But she does not do any funny business. She walks over and completes her spell. It is a version of True Sight, and she uses the mirror fragment. She and it melt as the spell detonates, but the middle chamber swallows the explosion of magic that leaps off of her as she melts and lights up for a moment. And you hear Almi's voice for just a second say, "There is only one path, but many paths."
well, that was illuminating.
Ah,
Shall we?
yeah.
Okay. You head down the center passageway. It's clear that someone, Eston, came down this way. There's snow in the tunnel, and you can see his footsteps clearly. When you get to... I think you just enter into a chamber on the other side. It is temple-like as well. It seems to be some kind of place of worship, though you don't have much time to look because Eston turns around. He's standing up near some altar, and he says, "Oh, shit, right. Well, I was hoping to have all of this wrapped up before you arrived, but here we are. Naomi, you look smashing."
Don't try it, bud. We've got a bone to pick with you.
I'm sure you do. What is it I can do for you?
How far is he?
Well, what we had in mind was dying slowly, excruciatingly. How does that sound?
Well,
sound
I
like part of the
suppose
plan?
it does, but I have a feeling our plans might not be exactly the same. He's about 35 feet away, Iritran, standing up on a dais that has some kind of altar on top of it. Behind him, you can see it's a bit outside your dark vision. You've got about 60 feet, so about a dash's length plus a little bit more. There seems to be a very large wall of ice. It is not smooth. There are ripples and frosted bits. It's cloudy in some parts. You can't get a good look at it. But whatever Eston's doing, he was facing that wall of ice. But he's now talking to you. And he says, yes, I believe there will be quite a bit of death and the most horrible versions of it. Naomi, though, I fear you were making some kind of veiled threat.
Oh, was it veiled? Oh, my mistake. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was being unclear. We're here to kill you.
Ah, yes, I thought you might be. You were just speaking in a general sense, so I didn't know if you'd finally come around and decided to join the winning team.
Can I throw my hand axe at him?
You may.
Awesome.
What is the range on it?
20 and 60.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you can throw it.
Nope. 11.
Give me just a second. Roll damage.
5.
Okay. It seems to catch him off guard. At the last second, he throws up a hand and a spell kind of misfires, and he isn't able to do anything about it. And the hand axe sticks into his shoulder, and he goes, "Oh, son of a bitch! Ow! I should have expected that out of you, Iritran, you bastard! Can't we have a nice conversation? Good God, man! Look at this!" And it's just bleeding. Look at this! I'm standing on the precipice of my destiny, and now I'm expected to go through with a soiled fucking robe? You're such a brute, man! You fucking pirate! Damn it! And he pulls out the hand axe, and he throws it back at you. And it doesn't even cross the distance. It just like clink, 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 over the stuff. He's like, God! Such company, Naomi! Such company!
Can I shoot him in the foot with my arrow?
Everybody roll initiative if we're going to start shooting.
Yeah. Oh my God. We were just talking about a crit fail on initiative.
Uh-oh.
Did you, Iritran? Okay.
22.
Although
I hit it.
Oh, sorry, go.
I hit it 12.
And Iritran.
I get a +5 on it, so it's only a 6.
We're going to stick with the crit fail. And Triss, you said 22?
On it.
Right.
No surprising me, though. I threw the first axe.
Okay. Because Iritran crit failed, this is what happens.
Bad crits. Bad crits.
I wrote down these numbers. I think they will need to be tracked later. Here's what happens. Triss, as you are reaching to grab your arrow, you hear the echo of footsteps behind you. You all turn to see that there are 2 other doors set into the far walls of this chamber, and you recall the 3 pathways that led away from the fountain. Eston, who's still grabbing the wound in his shoulder, says, "Right, well, it seems that all roads lead to whatever Berdea's version of Rome is. May I introduce you to," and he gestures to the tunnel on your right, and out steps Eston. Yes, he's charming, he's handsome, and he now has a little bit more HP than I do. Thank you, Iritran. But we don't want to be too hasty. There are still more introductions to make. And he gestures to the passage on your left. Allow me to present to you, and out steps Eston. Equally charming, equally capable, and equally as pissed off about what you did to my robes.
Oh, you think you're pissed?
Yes, Iratran. Yes, I am.
Hmm.
And with that, all three Estins put their palms out towards the sky, and all three Estins begin casting a spell. Blackout.
Oh,
Guy. Sideways with a scimitar. Fuck that guy. So pissed off. Oh, I'm so angry. Of course you are.
oh. Oh my God.
That
Play
was
with the time stone, they said. It'll be fine, they said.
What a show!
Ah,
I miss.
He's a fan favorite, you know? We're just giving the people what they want.
Ooh,
The people want more
who's
Estin.
favorite?
We're giving the people, the fans.
AKA Jesse's favorite.
yeah, I know. So we all know what that means.
Chat, back me up here.
You have to have a villain so that when they die, everyone's like, Florba is a favorite. Thank
Yeah,
you.
chat makes the excellent
Florb.
point that Florb is currently the fan favorite.
Oh, and what about Norgit? Huh?
Right? Maverick. Well, everyone doesn't want to talk about the soft-spoken one, even though he's like barrel rolling and like, he single-handedly took out one of those dudes. It's like, yeah, not even a thing. But everyone's like, but Florb. I mean, to be fair,
Listen, it's not easy to change your mind upon receiving new information about your point of view. And he did that gracefully.
that is a
True.
valid point. That is a very, very fair point.
True.
Jeez. What a show.
Oh my God, I can't believe you have to wait a week to kill this guy.
I don't know. He seems pretty strong, and he's a fan favorite. So
Okay. Okay.
I got it. Yeah, no, that he got it back.
all right, that's gonna do it for us. Thanks so
Oh my
much for
God.
watching, everybody. We had a great time. We all love bringing Estin back, so I'm glad that we got a chance to do that for you. We already saw the trailer for our brand new adventure. Yes,
Lady Death Squad.
Lady Death Squad. Okay, cool. To cover my rather blatant tech failure. But why don't we just go to that real quick one more time, just to get you titillated before next Thursday.
For the children.
Lady Death Squad will be every Thursday at 6 Pacific time. Also tune in next Friday for the season finale of this show, The In Crowd, where 3 Estins are destined to give us a total party kill so that they can become the true heroes of this. We've got a lot of good stuff planned, so spread the word, hit the follow button, subscribe, join us on social media. Everything you need is below on our Twitch channel with some brilliant little buttons and links, so just go click on all those things. And until next time, RIP Argus, I'm your DM, Jesse Keeter, saying, are you in?